Hi, it's been a while since I made a video, but I was thinking about my blazons and what I could do about them and decided to make another one. So I had originally made a blazons video a while back, and some comments on it were that it was not very good because it was not really showing what I should be thinking about. And I agreed with that. I didn't pay close enough attention to what I was doing, and I think my blazons ended up pretty bad as a result. And so I'm hoping to try to address that here. And maybe I'm going to be wrong again, but hopefully I'm not. So let me go into my blazons. And I'm going to go to my ground. And so this is what I had set up. I had gotten my blazons up to level 5, but the problem is I hadn't looked at the actual individual abilities of each one. And so if you look here, this one, like my basic attributes, reinforcing ground troop attack, which is kind of meh, ground troop load, which is awful, because most of the time that you're using the blazons for combat, and the load does nothing for combat. And so if I look at a different one, this one for reinforcing ground troop defense, also pretty bad. Go here for training capacity, defending ground troop defense, excuse me. So a lot of these, like in rally ground troop hit points, so a lot of these are kind of not good because, for instance, the Justice blazons here, when you get the set, these are all for attacking. And so you want to use this set when you're attacking. And when you're attacking, like the defending ground hit points don't do you any good. And so what I did was I looked through all my blazons and tried to find, excuse me, tried to find all the ones that actually added something to what I was trying to do. So in this case, for ground, when I'm attacking. So I want to be looking at the Justice set. So here, I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go to change, and I'm going to look to see what I have. And so I already spent a lot of time, and this does take a lot of time to go through all the level 1 blazons that you have to figure out which might be the best. So what I want to do here, I only want to look at, the Justice set. So confirm that so that I only have to look at the Justice set. And so, like I said, I've already looked at some of these, and I've already kind of marked them with a little lock here to show which ones are good, or at least the best that I have. And so if I go here and I click change, I can look at this. So this one, you can see it has attacking ground troop attack. So attacking, that's what I want to be doing. And the secondary one is reinforcing, which is, like I said, not great. But you got to go with what you got. I'm not a coiner, so I'm not going to be getting a bunch of blazon chests so that I can find the exact optimal one. I'm just going to pick the best ones that I have. Okay? So let me go to this one here. I can go to change. Once again, I've already looked through to find the best one that I can. So in this case, oops. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to do the filter. Just to get the Justice ones. And here we go. So this one here, if I click on it, so this one you can see that it's going to boost my defense for attacking, which is what I want. So go ahead and select that here. Same kind of thing for here. So I can go ahead and select that, and I can go ahead and select that for each of them. Sacrifice. Oh, I forgot. So this one actually, the ones on it weren't bad. So since it's already level 5, I had locked this one as saying that this one was the best. So sorry, let me go here to find the one I had for that. That's a sacrifice one. So here's the justice one. So here I can see, I have attacking, so that's good. Here, once again, it's all attacking. Here, the reinforcing isn't great. The ground troop hit points is okay because, especially when I'm doing battles, I'm going to be attacking a lot, but I'm also going to be defending. And so the basic ground troop hit points, even when I'm using the set for attacking, it's still going to give me a benefit when I'm defending as well. Because generally I'm not going back and forth in the middle of battle to switch my Blazons to a different set, because I'm reinforcing some mine or something like that and want to get the benefit of it. That's just too much to worry about. And so I think just having the ground troop hit points is fine for that. And so I have all these, and now I can go ahead, like I had in my other video, and do upgrades on them. And so, once again, you can filter if you want. You can do the auto select to pick ones. The other thing is that, let me scroll, I've got too many of these. Hey. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about that then. But basically, your higher level ones that you might have been replacing will be at the bottom, and they can give you more points. When you're just going from level 1 to level 2, it's going to give you more points than you need, so it's not really worth it. But so I can just go ahead and do the upgrade there. Basically, I have enough that I can upgrade at least to level 3 of everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for these. But once you've identified all of the good Blazons, and like I said, so let me show you, so if you find one that you like, you can just click that little lock there and mark it. So it just kind of makes it like it's a favorite. And that way, when you're going to upgrade, you won't use the ones that you've marked as favorites because, you don't want to get rid of them. And all the other ones are just kind of garbage ones that I don't care about, like troop defense on monsters. I'm not using this set to attack monsters with my ground troops, so I don't really care about that. It's just stuff like that. So, I can go ahead and just do the upgrade. Like I said, let's just upgrade everything to level 3. Just make sure that, if it's grabbing them, it's not grabbing any of your favorited ones. And like I said, this one was already level 5, so I don't need to upgrade that one anymore. And then the last one here, I can go ahead and upgrade. Okay, and then so I have this set, and you can see it's marked as my current set, and so I can go to here to say save. I like to save my attacking one in slot 1, so I just go ahead and say that, and it's there. And then I can go to my ranged and do the same kind of thing, which I already did. I replaced all my my previous ones with the ones I've marked as locked, and then go ahead and do that. So I have all my set ones are all attacking, and if I switch to 2, you can see that I've got my defending or my monster for the mounted, defending for the ranged, and defending for the ground. And then I can go through that same exercise of doing all the upgrades of these so that I can get the bonuses. Because you know, when you look at here, you know, you saw before, you know, it was like 0.7 and 0.6 or whatever, and then, you know, when you level it up, then they're going up incrementally. And so, you know, every time you do the upgrade on one of these blazons, you're adding another 0.7, 8.9%. And, you know, they can add up. You know, so when you get the full set, you know, you got 2 attributes for each one. You know, maybe one of them is good and one of them is not so good. But, you know, overall, you can be adding, you know, 5, 10, 15% to your attributes, which is what you want to be doing. And then once you get up to level 10, then you can start getting an extra attribute. And, you know, unfortunately, once you get to level 10, the attribute you get is what you get. And, you know, if it's something that's garbage, you can either decide to start over again, which, you know, for a free-to-play person isn't really something you want to be doing. And you could just say, okay, I'm just going to live with it at this point. All right, so hopefully you can upgrade your Blazons a little bit better and have a little bit better results in your battles. All right, talk to you next time.